All right, hi, welcome. This is Diane Cunningham Ellis, and I am excited to have a interview today with my friend and client and colleague, Kim Steadman. And we are going to be talking about Nourish. And Kim was in the first group of Nourish that I ever offered. She was in the audience of the NACWE conference, which is the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs, for those of you that don't know what that silly little acronym stands for. But this is a program that now has become a book. It is also a challenge. It is there's a PDF, but there's all sorts of pieces to this, and it's really a mindset. It's a mantra, and I'm excited to talk about it today with Kim. And so anyway, Kim, introduce yourself to the people, and then we will dive in.
Okay, well, I am Kim Steadman from kimsteadman.com. I'm a idea instigator, content curator, a writer, and a mentor for other writers. That's some of the first of my titles and things that I do. But I am a nourished woman, and I can actually say that I am further down the road than I would have been had I not stepped into that first journey with Diane. And it has been, at the recording of this recording, it's in the midst of all the COVID mayhem. And I can tell you that there's been a lot of things that Nourish during the 3-month time that I had with Diane, with your coaching with that program, that I keep falling back on. And it's a process. If there was anything to the cover of the book, whoops, my virtual background is freaking out. Anything to the cover of the book that could be changed, it would be that looks like a puzzle. Because there are so many little puzzle pieces to nourishment and to nourish. And truthfully, when I stepped on board with you way back in September and of last year, I would have been open to anything. And I've said it before, that sometimes some of the food programs, the diet programs, there's the list of food. These are the good foods. These are the bad foods. And at that time, I was open to even that. But you opened my eyes that true nourishment is more than just the good foods, the bad foods. There is a whole body experience that goes with nourishment. And that's what I've been learning with you along this journey.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it. I love that imagery. And yeah, I mean, it really is a puzzle piece. And so maybe next go around, right?
Version 2.
Version 2 or the workbook or something that could be coming next. You never know what's going to come next. You just never know what's going to come next. But yeah, I love that concept. I was on a call earlier today, or a video, or somewhere. I was somewhere. And I was talking about almost like a Tetris game. It's like, okay, you get this little piece in, and oh, here comes another one. Oh gosh, here's this one. I need to flip it. And it can go in all different ways. And so Nourish and when I was making this cover, I made sure, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, that's pretty. And then I looked at it again. I thought, oh gosh, there's not any there's no meat on there. So like sometimes and some people don't eat meat, and some people eat only meat, and some people, we all have a different body, different age, different medicines, different locations. And what works for me one year, the next year actually maybe doesn't work anymore. And then I'm chasing the dream, or I'm chasing the old program, or I'm chasing my 20-year-old self. Well, that's kind of cuckoo. And so really what I wanted to teach in this program, and what you're really a great example of, is that it's evolving, it's constant, it's not going to be perfect. Every day you get to learn more. As I have hanging on my wall, it's an evolution. It is, it's a giant experiment. And sometimes we're going to cook a meal and it's going to be like, that's just gross. Okay. Move on. Or we're going to be surprised when something we thought we hated, we actually like. And so it's a lot about, it's really mostly, yes, it's about our food plan, and yes, it's about, having, doing some movement of our body. Most of it's about my mindset and how I'm willing to transform what I thought was true, or give myself permission to think a new thought, eat a different food, not eat at certain hours, try something over here. So I guess my question for you is, what have you learned by trying some new things over the last few months?
Oh, my goodness. Well, let's see. Well, first of all, what very first exercise that you had me do in the program, it's not the very first thing that you do in the book, but you do have us do that, which is writing those, the foods and 33 foods that you like and 33 foods that you don't like. So like my first eye-opening experience, because was actually just making that list, which my 33 foods that I don't like I haven't even come up with that list yet, because I've discovered I'm really not all that much of a picky eater.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I now there are some foods that I really like the more, but there's not just that detailed list. And, that, I don't know, that was just eye-opening for me. It's like, I'm not as picky of an eater as I would have thought that I was.
Right.
And so I've got this huge list of foods that I do like, but at the same time, and here it goes back to, if you had given me a list and you end up, you tell us to do that, make your combinations of foods and things that you like, because I can get overwhelmed real quickly if I have too many choices. And that's where I've stumbled in other food type programs before. It's like, well, don't give me all those choices right now, because all those choices is what got me into trouble to begin with. Narrow it down, just say, oh, okay, you can have, but I don't know, that was eye-opening. Like you said, the mindset things that you taught, because it's not just the food. The reason, if your nourishment is not just food, you could actually join this program, join Nourish, and not have a food hurdle. Because it's not just the food. There's mindset issues. There's especially, there's just, there's the heart and body and soul, of your whole self. And so there's a lot that needs to go on in heart and soul work to truly feel like a nourished woman. So food may not be the issue. It may be some other things that you want to work on.
Yeah.
To feel nourished.
Right. Because a lot of women, because I hang out in 12-step rooms and virtually and in person. And I've been in all sorts of self-help groups as a attendee. My first self-help group was in college. Well, this wasn't the first one. The first couple ones were about body image, and it was in college, and I was 19. And, prior to that, I'd spent 30 days in an inpatient eating disorder program. So this is a battle I've been waging for a gazillion years. And women, we use our body as a battleground. As simple as that. I can gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and be obsessed with my weight, which is easy for me. It's harder to go deeper down and go, what's underneath all that, right? What am I not saying? What am I eating my words about? Where am I feeling resentful or afraid, or what's not working in the bigger piece of my life? And so why am I, instead of dealing with that, just somehow magically the cookies end up in my mouth, right? Like we don't know how it happened. Oh my gosh, I don't know how it happened, right? Nobody's force feeding anybody, not, pizzas and cookies and sugar. And I have to get really willing. This is hard stuff, as you know. This is hard stuff, and it's not a diet, and it's not a 30-day quick fix, and it's a lifestyle, and we are not taught, or either we're not taught or we don't catch on how to take good care of ourselves. We're used to caring for everyone else, external, um, helping, the 4 M's, helping and mothering and fixing and gathering and rescuing and all these great things. And, and it takes an act of brave, bold courage to say, hold on a second, hold on. What in the world do I want to eat? When you've been giving, what do they want to eat? What does he need to eat? What do they need to eat? Little people, sideways people, and older people. And like when you finally go, well, wait a darn minute. So you've learned a lot about, I've watched you learn a lot about your emotional needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was one of the things, that you, like you said, you alluded to when we were in the program, and there was a group of ladies of us doing it all together intensely with you for 3 months. I don't know how many times we would say, this is hard, because following a food plan is kind of easy. When you start getting into this heart and mind stuff of, what's triggering, what is this triggering that's causing me to want to eat, and really recognizing that. Before I started the program, I would have never said that I was an emotional eater. I just wouldn't have. But now I do eat my emotions. I eat my happy emotions. I eat my sad emotions. I eat my worry, but I came to that realization. I am an emotional eater. And I had never, in any of the other program things that I'd ever been in, that realization had never surfaced, because there wasn't heart and mind work. It was just follow the program, move your body, follow the program, move your body, eat this food, don't eat that food, move your body. And it was everything, and it was just that whole rinse and repeat, but there was never those questions. And so in the notebook, or in the book, you gave us the daily practice sheets to where we check in with ourselves. That's a huge deal. That's something else that I've kind of learned. And I'll do it. And I don't always write it down, but I find myself pausing. That's one of your key things. Stop, pause, just take a breath, but, and really having that mindfulness of each day of, okay, what's today's focus? What's today's focus? Don't worry about the birthday party that you're going to have to go to in 2 weeks, and already be worrying about the birthday cake that's going to be there in 2 weeks, and fretting about, well, I know I'm going to eat a cake in 2 weeks, so I might as well just forget it and not do anything else good for my body for 2 weeks until after the birthday cake, because there's always going to be stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to take one day at a time, one victory at a time. And if you stumble, okay, so what? It doesn't mean it's over. You stumbled, pick yourself up. Weebles wobble. And so we're kind of like, we wobble, but we're back up, we start over again. And that is okay. You are a woman of slogans and phrases and stuff, and I've got all these little new things written down that it's okay. Today is day one. And I already know that tomorrow is day one.
Yeah.
I know in advance I've got a fresh new start tomorrow. And my plan today is to make the right choices and do the right things. But if not, it's okay. Tomorrow is day one. It doesn't mean that the month is shot, or the week is shot, or the year is shot. It's just start over again.
No, I love that. Oh my gosh. And I just grabbed a few of my little slogan things so I can hold them up. Progress, not perfection. All of us are chasing this random, weird perfection. I don't know anybody that's ever found it.
Right.
It's like this endless search, and I stare in the refrigerator like Jesus is in there somewhere hiding. And I can't ever get to something that's not real. Like, I can practice, I can show up, I can do the best I can do today. And that whole black and white thinking where, we would just throw out everything if we ate something wrong at the one section.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, I've heard women say that same exact thing. Oh, I can't start until my birthday. It's, May I'm like, really? You really? You can't do something, you could do something for 14 days until then. And then that's one event, one meal, one experience. Like, so, and what Kim was referencing, just for the sake of those that watch this later, in the book at the back are 90 days worth of these pages. I'm just going to hold it up really quick. And these are, so the book is basically built into a 90-day habit practice guide is what it's called. And at the beginning are some of these other things that Kim was mentioning with the 33 foods list, and also the food plan, and a place for you to write down a food log or a food plan, 12 weeks worth, which equals 90 days. And that's, I love 90 days. I've done everything in 90-day increments forever and ever and ever, because it's hard for me to imagine April next year right now. It's just really hard. And it's, I can think about, maybe the next 30 days. Okay, cool. But we don't want to ever, like you said, all I know is I have plenty of meals to figure out today. Enough. I've got enough meals and choices. I read recently that the average woman has to make 250 choices a day about food.
Oh,
250 a day.
That's tiring.
I'm exhausted just saying it. And, the more I can reduce that number and just, not have to question, am I eating this or not eating this today? Or am I, if I can contain that a little bit more and try a food plan for a week. And, or try, I've done a couple experiments for 30 days, 28 days. Sometimes your body needs time to tell you what it needs to say, but we want instant gratification. We want to lose weight instantly. We want to know instantly, does this thing work or not work? Well, all of that is very male. What I'm learning in the training I'm in, there's kind of like female energy and in the dieting world and food world, and wanting quick results is very action male oriented, whereas like our nurturing our body, getting on the scale is very, like choppity chop, Diane, you're good, you're bad, that's
Right.
versus how do I feel, that's very much more of a female question, and much more of, our bodies are built differently than men. Imagine that. But
They're so lucky sometimes.
yeah, sometimes we are, and sometimes it's like, But so what Kim was referencing in here, there's a morning practice and then an evening awareness and gratitude. And it's about, today I want to nourish myself with. So how can I plan ahead, whether that's with a certain food that I actually enjoy? That doesn't mean it doesn't, you can enjoy foods that are actually good for you. And there is no good or bad food. Ooh.
Oh, that was a big one. When we did the program and you introduced us to the book, The Slow Down Diet. It's almost like if you could do the nourishment plan and read the Slow Down Diet at the same time and learn this concept about, the food, and there's really no bad food. And it was just, that was amazing, and slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
That was that book, and then the nourishment, because I had realized one of my revelations during the program was that I was a speedy eater. And I didn't even realize I was a speedy eater. I really had not paid attention to how I consumed my food. If I wrote it down, I wrote down what I ate and everything, but I didn't pay attention to how long did I eat, where was I eating, what was my, surroundings, and, giving yourself that mental nourishment while you're eating of a pretty plate.
Yeah.
And taking the time, to sit and eat. And instead of saying, okay, I'm going to eat this and I'm going around and doing this and swing back around the kitchen, the island or whatever, and grab another, but sit and pause and eat. and
Yeah.
enjoy and slow down, because I was a speedy eater. And that, unfortunately, well, that's inbred in us as children in school, because we have to hurry and eat. Or in the States, in the United States, you have to hurry and eat because you got to hurry up and get back to class. And
Mm-hmm.
everything's on a timetable. And we're in a hurry mode. And even through college, you're in a hurry, get to class, hurry. And we don't, we don't have that European sense
Mm-hmm.
of sit and slow down. And
Mm-hmm.
we get trained sometimes when we're on some of these diet programs and diet plans. They'll say, chew your food, however many times we're supposed to chew your food or whatever, But what's the real? Why are you having to even bring that up? It's
Right.
because we're taught to be fast eaters. Hurry up, got to go someplace.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody doesn't have to go anyplace. So
Right.
at this recording, we're all in the quarantine of COVID. And so there's a little bit more time at home. We're not as in a hurry. And so some of that revelation could come,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
sit and be slow and just pay attention to everything about your nourishment, not only the food, but just how do I feel? Checking in with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm feeling anxiety, okay, what did I do within the past hour, 2, 3, 10? And I experimented and watched the news yesterday.
Oh.
I hadn't watched it in about 2 weeks. I had been depending on my little app on my phone, and then I have the local news app. Just I would check and just see, just real quick, what's going on. Not even diving in real deep, but I sat and watched the news
Mm.
for an hour. And I won't do that again for a while because it stressed me out. And then I realized, oh, no wonder everybody's freaking out on Facebook and posting all this stuff, because it's just like, it's crazy. And they're feeding the crazy. And it's like, I don't need to feed the crazy. I don't need to watch that crazy.
Mm.
I've got my sources, and I'm just going to have to, there's just a lot of trust on our higher power God of everything. And I just need to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to nourish me. And it's
Right.
like, I'm not going to do the news thing, because I can see how everybody's getting all stressed out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just like, okay, a tick
Yeah.
on my nourishment. I know what I don't need, and I know what I do need, and I
Yeah.
need less news, and I need more Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really important piece of this puzzle, because and we all get to choose I guess there's some things we have no control over, but there's a lot of things we do. What comes into I haven't watched the news once in this and yes, we are in the middle of COVID. For those watching this way, way later, just bear with us, because right now people are binge eating and gaining 20 pounds. They're gaining the COVID-19. I've seen people that have said they've gained 8 pounds, they've gained 20 pounds in the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We can either do that or not. Everybody's underlying issues are rising up. They're rising up right now. And so they were there before, but now we don't have any place to shove them, right? And we're also,
Right.
left kind of more, we have less distractions. People are home. People are having to do things they've never done. So a lot of if you have any areas of tweaky, then your tweaky will come out. And, we've had to, like, I pulled out my little sign that says made a decision. The steps of 12, the 12 steps this is step 3, and it starts with made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the power of God as I understand him. And this is about food. It's about alcohol. It's about not turning on the TV. It's about not getting email on my phone. I mean, this is about all these boundaries that we have or don't have. I made a decision. We have a decision at our house that we don't watch the news. I actually asked to turn it on a couple weeks ago, and he's like, and I mean, we've got plenty of information. And so that's a decision that I can, and I choose to not eat certain food. That's a decision I made. And that's, I've adapted that on occasion. I've experimented with foods. I've brought them back in. I've removed them. And I have the gift and honor of listening to this body that God gave me. Instead of listening to diet guru A, B, or C, it might work for them, all of them, but it might not work for me. And that's a great decision for me to make. It's okay for me to say, hey, I tried this for 30 days and I learned these things, 5 things from this, and I'm going to incorporate these into my next 30 days of blank. And to really remove, I guess what I'm trying to get at here, it's important for me to make a decision, but it's also important for me to hold things loosely. So that sounds like an oxymoron or a dichotomy. Fancy words here today, but it's the dichotomy of surrendering, but also having a boundary. It's I have my commitments, and I'm going to go with the flow.
Right.
And that's how life is, really. That's the yin and the yang of life. So what decisions have you, you talked about adding TV back in and knowing that, is there anything else you've kind of tried and said, no, that didn't work for me?
I tried when we were doing the program, I tried the intermittent fasting, and that was back then when there were these normalish schedules. And for me, I realized I tried, and I realized that my window was too wide, and that I really needed to just have a narrower window. Because and that kind of went with my own my own natural eating habits.
Yep.
Now things are kind of different because life is just different, and I'm tickled that I'm not gaining any weight. I'm holding my own for the past 6 weeks. And I'm, for that, I'm excited. So I had lost 10 pounds, and right now 6 weeks of kind of crazy, and I haven't gained that weight back. So I'm like, okay,
excellent.
That's good. That is a good thing that I am rejoicing in. Some things that worked for me, in the book, you introduced us to the habit tracker, and having all those habits listed, and it's like I'm getting ready to start my May one and deciding what habits that I want to do. But really being very, very mindful of the things that I want to implement for the month. And that doesn't mean that that's forever. And you alluded to that. I don't know. For some reason, I was always stuck in this mindset that whatever I was making a decision to do was the way it was going to have to be far down the road. And I don't know. I was so stuck in that mindset that it would keep me from implementing what should be a small change, because it was like, well, no, I'm going to have to do that forever. That's
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just really weird. And I don't know, just something about seeing that a habit tracker, and these are just the habits that I want to implement this month.
Right.
Even though I'm looking at 90 days, I'm just looking at the habits for this month, because I may need to tweak and change and alter. Exactly. That's it. That little sheet right there, because it's like, okay, it's not forever. And just because I'm saying I want to work on this habit for this month, okay, that might be the right habit, or there may need to be adjustments to the habit. And I can, see at the end of the month, well, if I didn't do them, what was the reason? And so like my habit tracker for March, I ended up the last 2 weeks, it's horrible, because just everything started going crazy, and schedules were off kilter, and it's like, okay, but I know I can look back in this now, and I'll know why.
Right.
And that's the other thing about tracking that I really diligently did with habits and stuff, was being able to track. And if there was a gap, because I'm, keeping track of things, I can say, oh yeah, I know why.
Mm-hmm.
So I know why this didn't happen. I know why, you know, and I don't know, that was just really eye-opening, just the whole fact of writing things down,
Yeah.
even from the food to the plan to the whatever, just, and I mean, I love to write and I have journals and everything like that, but applying it in this concept and in this way has just really helped me to be a lot it's brought a level of awareness to my whole body experience of mindfulness and of being kind to myself and taking care of me, because if I don't take care of me and fill my vessel, I'm not going to have enough to pour out and help other people. And so that was kind of like, that was my big stepping off point with you, with joining the Nourish plan back in September, was making that big commitment to myself to take care of myself. I had hit a crossroad that I knew I needed to do that. And so that was something else that I learned. I don't even remember what your original question was. I've gone down a bunny trail. Sorry about that.
Okay. I don't remember what the question was either. It doesn't matter. But I was just remembering. Well, I just want to say to everybody listening, yeah, I mean, this is available on Amazon. You can order it. In some of my programs, you get it as a PDF. This is what we were just talking about, with just some simple blank habit tracker pages. I have it on like a one-page PDF thing, but I can't find it at the moment, so just bear with me. But long before this became real, long before, years and years before this became a real thing, I'm going to pull out like where it all started. I just created a page that I used, for a couple years now. And it's just very simple: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. My life changed, and I would write down, and it has the whole week, and you can just fill in the blank. And I would just make blank copies of this little bugger. And I would send this out to my clients, because for me, it was helpful to be accountable and see it as I ate it. And I use all these fancy apps, there's all these apps and apps and apps, and I can get really obsessed. I can be obsessed. I'm good at being addicted to anything that makes me feel a little in control, makes me feel a little more, powerful, or makes me feel more fun, or makes me feel like and I can be addicted to the, incremental, like bettering myself. So for a long time, I didn't do any of the apps. I just used this simple tracker. And then I'm going to just show my real one. I think I did this at the conference. I mean, I have a simple 2020 planner, and I'm going to just be able to show you right up front. Whoops, that's a blank page. Like these are all of that's January. And then February, I'm going to go straight to this month, where I actually have some little slogans. Do their next right thing. How can I nourish myself today? More will be revealed. Those alone can change your whole day. Yes. And in here, in the middle of COVID, I've exercised more than I ever have. I've gone to more AA meetings than I ever have. And you think, well, that's really odd. Are you doing nothing? No, I'm actually doing a lot. My business is online. It always has been. Not always, but so when somebody says they don't have time to do anything, I'm like, well, step aside, sister, because I'm going to take you straight out.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, I don't know what you're doing over there, because I'm doing all the things.
They're saying they're bored. And I'm like, how can you be bored?
How can anyone be bored right now or ever? And so this for me is very important. Every day I write down, and I've already written, I went to an AA meeting this morning at 7 a.m. on Zoom. I did my exercise before that on my little Gazelle. And so for me, it's like a daily log glance. This only thing I track in here are those two things: my exercise and my meetings, because it's helpful for me, because I can think, oh, you haven't done enough. Really? I've done plenty. And so our mind, I guess, our mind can play tricks on us. And for me, it's helpful to just have that authenticity, honesty, writing it down, just to be able to say, you're good. And, good for you for maintaining the weight loss. Anybody that's maintaining a weight loss or anything right now is like, we are in the miracle zone.
Exactly. When you were just now talking about that, it reminded me, the question that you said, some of the things what did I do when we first you started Nourishment. I created that coloring page, and I don't know, where this film is going, but if you're in the 21-day challenge right now, that page is in that challenge.
Yes.
And that was one of the first things, just a full mindset of doing a nourishing act every day. And that could change. It might be making good food choices. It may be that I went and walked. It might have been that I drank all my water. But that little coloring page was like my little feedback. I had it on my refrigerator, and I saw it get filled in as I went through that journey, and it was my visual reminder that even though I wasn't looking at my calendar or my trackers, I had that coloring page, and I could just see it blossoming and saying, giving me that feedback, that I was making nourishing choices. And every day it might be different, but it was choices. And that's what it all boils down to, is we're choosing.
Yes.
We're choosing one way or the other.
Yeah.
And just which choice will you make?
Yeah. It's all a choice. And I'll just go to my little, making a decision sign again. I can change if I choose to change. And I guess I'm going to just say I have changed my entire life. I have changed I used to drink every night. I used to eat a lot of things that I don't eat anymore. I used to smoke. I've done all sorts of things that I think, that's interesting. I would have told you I never could, never say never. Because you can't believe that you can do something when you're used to doing it every day. And you have walked through recently, and this sounds so silly, but I'm going to say it again, because we can be addicted to things that, like, somebody might think, oh, that's no big deal. What is she even saying? What is the problem with her? She's obsessive. I was addicted to Diet Coke, vanilla Coke Zero. Let's be very specific. Vanilla Coke Zero. And other people I know are drinking like Sprite all day. Other people I know are drinking Dr. Pepper. Other people are drinking, sweet tea. And, when I talk to my clients, I find out all their secret stuff. And it's like, oh, you go out to eat every day? What? You go? Yes. I'm like, oh. And so it's, whatever we do, we think is what everybody does, but it's not true. And so I had to release the diet drinks again. It's like they come in and out. And then I released in January, you watched me, my diet or my sugar-free gum. And I'm telling you, the last few days and this last week, I've thought about my sugar-free gum. I've looked at my sugar-free gum in the drawer. And I've thought about going back on it because I've been stressed. I've been walking through some things. And I haven't yet. Here's the deal. In the just for today, I can live without that gum. Just for today, I can say, oh, no, you're doing good. Look at all that you've done. Look at all these days you've strung together. Look at all these days of sobriety. Look at all these days of gum-freeness. Look at all these days of not having the diet root beer or the diet thing. And you've strung these together. Don't give it up right now, sister. Stay on course. If you decide, they teach us, in the 12-step program, we're not figuring out next Tuesday's birthday party or next Christmas. Like, what in the hell? I don't need to figure out the meal for Christmas.
What are we going to eat?
And I've had times where I was obsessing about the birthday dinner next week, and they changed it. I had picked out my exact meal at this one place looking at their website. And they're like, last minute, they're like, oh no, we're going over here. I'm like, well, alrighty then. Let go. I will not go hungry. Hello, I'm not going to starve to death. But just learning to, like you said, be willing to do those changes, mindset changes, making those decisions, and then praying just for the willingness to be willing. Yeah, I know we could talk forever and ever about all this, but is there any last tidbits you want to share with the women that are in the Nourish Challenge, or women that watch this video just that are intrigued?
Uh, I would just tell you that you're worth it, because I
Hmm.
know a lot of times, we just think, well, that's going to cost too much money, or I don't have enough time because I'm doing this for this person, this person, this person. But you're you're worth it, and um, give yourself that gift of taking care of yourself, of nourishing yourself,
Hmm.
and whatever that nourishment means for you. But just give yourself that gift, because you're worth it.
Hmm. Amen. And you, and yeah, that's a good note to end on. We are all worth it. I'm gonna just show one more. I keep visual reminders, as you can tell, everywhere, everywhere. And I'm gonna show off another one. I'm gonna show off a couple other ones just because they're sitting right here. I think it's important for us to remember who we are, who we've been, and who we are now. I have pictures of me as a little girl in a swimsuit right here, frolicking out and about, my little belly hanging out, happy as a lark. And then I also have a picture of me when I was at one of my highest weights. And, I keep some of these little pictures nearby because I want to remember that I am both of those girls. And I'm also the girl of today. And that neither one of them is horrible or ugly or embarrassing, or she was doing the best she could, both of those girls. And including when I was at my very highest weight. And I don't need to be mean to her. She's worth it. She's lovable. She was lovable at 203 pounds, and she was lovable when she was starving herself. And that she is me. She is me. And that is nourishing right there. That thinking is the way that I'm going to heal. That's how I'm going to heal and love myself. So thank you so much, Kim, for coming on here today. I'm going to just close this in a little mini prayer, if that's all right.
Sure.
Okay. Father, we just celebrate this journey, this one day at a time journey. Just for today, I'm going to just trust you with my food and listen to your promptings about, even while we've been on this call, I've been having a prompting about some food changes. And you know what? It's going to evolve. You made food for us to enjoy. You made food to feed our bodies, and you made us to need and have to have food each and every day. And so, Lord, let us not turn it into something evil or wrong, or be afraid of our own hunger. Hunger equates being alive. And so, Lord, I can learn to listen to the hunger, and I can learn to nourish myself with the foods I eat. And Lord, help me to just practice doing that one day at a time. Thank you so much for Kim in my life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, girl. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.